Welcome to this basic introductory session about Linux operating system. I have prepared a list of commands or list of the tasks that we will be discussing during this session. So we have installed the operating system and we have logged in with the normal user. Alright, once we log in to the machine, we'll see this $sign. This shows that the normal user has logged in to the machine, and this on the left hand side you will see the username that he has used to log into the machine, and this thing on the right side is the name of the server or the host name of the machine. We can see the host name by using this command hostname ctl. It says static host name is server1. There is another command hostname that will show us the host name of this machine. Excuse me. If we give this command pwd, this will show us the current working directory where we are logged in at the moment. So it says we are logged in under the home in Asif Shabir. This is the home directory of the user Asif Shabir. With the command ls, we can see the listing or we can see the list of all the files under the directory where we are working at this moment. So this is the list of the files or directories under this path home Asif Shabir. If we take the help of this command, there are two ways with which we can take the help of the command ls and then two minus signs and then write help. We'll study this more command later on and this piping sign later in this session. So it has broken this command into the pages. It says this is the usage of the command ls and then the options and then the file name or any other parameter that you want to pass. So if we scroll down, we'll see these are all the options that we can pass onto this command. The most famous one is this one, -l. Use a long listing format. So let us see how it will go. ls -l. Let us see the usage again. It says ls. We can give the normal command ls or we can use the options as well. So we are using the first option ls -l. It will show us the long listing of all the files that we saw previously with the command ls. So this is the output of the command ls -l. It's showing us that these are, if you see at the beginning of each line there is a D. This represents it's a directory. And after that these are the permissions for this particular directory. This is the user and this is the group that this directory belongs to. And this is the creation time of this directory. This is the size of this directory. If we use another switch, that is H, that is human readable, so we can, it's very low size, so that's why we're not able to read it. Let me see if I can find any other switch for this one. So there is another command to take the help. Besides ls -l, we can write man. that will display or show the man pages for ls command. Human readable, this is the only thing, human readable file. This man page is also showing us how to use ls command. So we may need to run this h on some other directory or some other path to get the size of the files exactly. Now I have given this command on ls on the root directory. / in the Linux is known as the root directory. This is the zero directory, or you can call it the basic path or the starting path from where all the subdirectories will be created on. So we can see that this boot directory is 4k and this one run is 12k, blah, etc, etc. This is how you take the help of any command and you run the basic command. If you want to check your current working path, that is home Asif Shabir. If you want to move to the root directory, you have to write cd and then the root path. Then if you give the pwd again, you will see that you are right now you are on the root directory. Run this command here, it will show you all the subdirectories under the root directory. So this is the directory structure of the Linux as we have discussed previously. We can see that these are the main directories that we may discuss during this session. This is the root directory. This is the var directory. Under the var directory, normally all the log files, all the log directory, the log files are created under this path. This is the proc. It will show all the information related to the processes or related to the hardwares. If we see how many partitions we have with the cat command, cat is just a text file viewer. With the cat command we can see, or we can read the content under partitions. It says we have these partitions that we have created. Oh, by the way, on the Linux machine, the hard disk or the partitions are denoted with SDA and SDA1, SDA2, etc. Then we have dev folder, devices folder. All the devices, physical devices that are connected with the Linux machine are shown here. These are all the devices that are connected with this machine. So we'll be studying this directory SR0. This is the CD-ROM, or the CD-ROM is known as SR0 on the Linux machine. And we have the home directory. Basically, when you create all the users are created under this directory. So initially we created a user root, and then another user was created, Asif Shabir, and the normal users are placed under this directory, and the root or the admin of Linux has a separate directory. You see, normal users cannot access this directory. You need to be a root or you need to be admin to access or view anything under this directory. There are two ways to read this directory. If you write sudo, that means this command temporarily gives you the admin privileges. It will ask you for the password, your password. Now you can see that you can see the contents under this directory. This directory belongs to the user root. no one has any access on this file. You can see from the permissions as well. Only root can read and write, and the group root can read and write. Now we have this is another directory etc. Let us display it in the long format. Basically all the configuration files are placed under this directory. If you install any new package, and the configuration files for that package will be installed under this directory. Like this is another path. From here we can see what version of OS we are using now. It says CentOS Linux release 7.4. This was a basic overview about the directory structure. Now let us view some text editors and text viewers. With the VI text editor, we can create any file. First we check the current working directory. We are under the root, so we need to go under the user home folder to create any directories or any files. Now save file. You press I. This is for the insert, and then you can start typing. This is test file. And to save the content on this file, you have to write this one. First you press escape, and then these three magical words or magical letters will save the file. Now let us view the content again. Asif file is there. Vi Asif file. Let's say this is a test file. This text has been stored in this file. Now to exit from this without saving or without modifications, without changing anything, we have to press escape and then these three letters. Nothing will be changed. Cat is just a text file viewer. If you write cat and then the file name, it will show us the contents of the file. With the touch command, we create any empty file. This means that this file will be created, but no text will be present within that file. You see, the file is present, and there is the size of this file is 0. Asif file has 19 bytes of size. Now these are some more commands. Okay. Let us see the contents of etc. You see that if we see the contents under the etc directory, basically it's showing in lots of pages. So we need to format the output so that we can easily read it. This is the pipe sign. This means that pass the output of this command to the next command, like this. Whatever will be the output of this command will be passed on to the onto the second command, and then this command will be executed. Let us see what happens. Now you see that it has broken the output into pages. If you keep on pressing spacebar, it will keep on displaying the next page. Similarly, if you give the less command, it will split this output into pages. Basically, more and less are breaking the output into the output into different pages. Now there's the command find and grep. grep With the grep we normally search the text within the files. With the find command we can find any command anything onto the system. Let's say that I have created this file asif or asif file. So I want to check where or what is the location of this file. Find, and then this is the path. It says find under the root directory, and the name of the file is asif file. It's showing us permission denied because the normal user has no permissions on this path. You see, he has no permissions up till here, and the last he has shown us that asif file is present under this path. Even though we searched it for the entire root directory, but it has taken us to the exact path. We can take help for this find command. See, search for files in a directory hierarchy. So the syntax is find, and then these are all the optional parameters. Different switches we can find. We can read it in the man pages in the detail. Or you can take the help again with the help command and then write more. It will show the output in different pages, but before that let us give this command in two different formats. And this was first command was without the pipe sign and more, and the second command will be with the pipe sign. So you can see that it has splitted the output into different pages so that it's easily readable. Okay, now let us study about the grep. We take the listing. Okay, first clear the screen by pressing Ctrl plus L. Just write it down. Ctrl plus L will clear the screen. Write ls. It is showing the complete output, but we don't need all the output, so we say ls and grep asif. It's saying that whatever is the output of this command ls, only display asif or the text that contains asif within that. So now he has taken the output from ls and he has grepped the output of asif, and it has shown us the two files asif-mt and asif file. This is the present in this directory. The next one is make directory. This is the syntax make directory and the directory name asif directory, and similarly we can remove the directory asif. If you press the tab, it will auto-complete the path or auto-complete the command as well. If you press the tab 2 times, it will show all the options that are starting with rm. So you can see rmdir is there. Asif he has removed this directory. Similarly, we can copy. Let's copy this asif file onto the documents. First we check these documents are empty by taking the output. Okay, this documents contains something, so let us go to the empty directory, download this empty. So ls will copy asif empty to downloads. downloads. You can see that this file has been copied under the downloads. Copy is normally a command that will keep the file in both the directories, but with the move is similar to the cut command in the Windows. So let us see how the move works. Let's move Asif file onto the downloads. See, now we can see that this downloads directory contains both the files, but Asif file has been removed from the previous directory where we were working, or where it was initially present. This is some basics about the file manipulations on the Linux. Now let us see how do you mount the CD-ROM. In order to access the CD-ROM on the Linux machine, we need to mount the CD-ROM. So the procedure for the mount will be like this. Let us become root to perform some additional steps. These steps or mount commands are not allowed from the normal user, or user who does not have any privileges on the system. So first we create a directory CD-ROM. First we check the path where we are working. We are under the root, so let's go on to the root directory, not in the root folder. Create a directory here, CD-ROM. Now we issue the command. Previously we discussed that the partition name for CD-ROM is SR0. So, and it will be present under devices SR0. This is the name of the CD-ROM. As we can see this, that it belongs to the group CD-ROM. So let's mount dev SR0 onto the CD-ROM directory. It has mounted, so we can read the contents of this file. These are the files that were present in the CD-ROM that before we mounted it. So these are the files that are present in the CD-ROM. We have mounted it with the findmnt command. We can see all the mounts that already exists on this machine. As we can see that CD-ROM mount is already present. It has been mounted from this path and it's showing the content on this directory. Similarly, you can see rest of the mounts that have been performed by the system itself. Let me adjust the screen size that we can see both the files together. Now let's discuss about creating a local repository. Repository is a store of all the packages that we can install on any Linux operating system or any flavor of the Linux. So this is the path where all the repositories are defined by default. All the files that ends with repo or repo, these are the repository files. So just we can see the content of any repository. So it has all the information that how the packages will be installed by using which path and the base URL and GPG check, etc. etc. So to create a local repository, first we have to remove the existing repositories, because if we will use these repositories, it will go over the internet and fetch all the download all the packages and then install. But we don't need to go over the internet. Instead, we need a locally created repositories that it will use to install all the packages. So create a directory over here, repo, and move all the files under this directory. Now this path is empty. Now let's create a file local.repo. Press the insert. Under these brackets, write the name of this directory of this repository. The name of this one is the name of the repository, the first one under the brackets, and the next tag name is just to read, or just an easily understandable name for this repository, or the first one is the ID of the repository. So we need a couple of parameters to create a repository: name and then the base URL. Base URL is the CD-ROM under the root directory, and we need to write this, that it's a file, and then 2 forward slashes, and then again 1 forward slash. The last forward slash is the root directory where the CD-ROM folder is present, and we have to write this one, that it will not check for any GPG checks. That's all to create a local repository. Now to prepare this repository, first we give the command yum clean all. This command will clean all the existing repositories data that this system has. Now we give another command, make cache fast. It will build up a local database for this repository. Now the repository has been created. Now let's see it. Repo list all. It will show us how many repositories are configured on this operating system. So repo ID is local, that we just wrote in that file. Repo name is the local repository. This is easily readable name. And the status is enabled, and we have this much packages 9591 under this repository. Let's view this file again with the cat command. This is the ID of this repository. This is the description or the name in the long format, so that we can easily understand this about this repository. This repository belongs to what purpose. This is the base URL. We had mounted the CD-ROM on this path, and we have taken the content from that CD-ROM to act as the local repository of our system. Now the repository is ready. I have just used the command yum. So let me show you the man pages for the yum. It says it's a command that you can use, that you can perform installation of new packages, removal of old packages, and lots of other things that are related to installation. So the basic syntax to install any package is yum install and then the package name. We don't know which package to install. Let me search for the package telnet. This is normally a minimum size. The size of this package is not so high, so we can see that it has shown that these are the packages that can show us or that can give us an information about the word telnet. So this is the name of the package that we need to install, a client program for the telnet remote login protocols. Let us install it. Yum install telnet. Alright, so it says that the total download size is 64K, and after the download or once it's installed the size will be this much. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay for me. Let's install it. It's installing and then verifying, and then it's installed the package. Now let us see the yum logs, or as I told you in the beginning that all the log files are normally placed under the var folder. So the var log yum.log, it says that I have installed telnet, and then I erased in the previously I installed it and erased it. Now in the last step I have installed it again. So it's showing me all the logs that have been performed on this machine. This file is related to the yum log files only, or the yum related log files. Let us see the contents of var log ls. These are different files that are log files for different services. Like this, the messages file, this will show us the continuous messages for what's happening on this machine. And this secure is for login attempts on this machine. Like if a user logs on to this system, it will log all the events on this file. This is related to another server, Samba. This server is used to communicate with the Windows operating system, and there are lots of other. As you can see that yum.log is already also present here. Now, how do we access any Linux machine over SSH, or how do we access any Linux machine remotely? For this, we have a service called SSH, and the name of this service is SSHD. As we discussed previously that daemon is normally the name of daemon is a service on a Linux machine, or the service is called a daemon on the Linux machine. With this command systemctl status and then the name of the service, we can see the status of any service. For this session we will check the service status of SSHD. It says the service is active and running and it's listening on port 22. Let us try to access this machine. For that we need to check the IP address of this machine. So to see the IP address of this machine, this is the command, and this is the IP address of the machine where we are working on. We can access the Linux machine using a software called PuTTY. This will provide us with the SSH access on this machine. We have the IP of the machine Let us try to access it remotely. Copy and paste. The service is running. SSH service, SSHD daemon is running. That will provide us with SSH access to this machine. Root and then the password of the user root. So it has logged in successfully. Now save. We can see the content of everything from this machine over the SSH. Check the log file for. Okay, now let me show you this file. When I will access this machine remotely, you will see that the messages will start appearing that someone has accessed this machine remotely. You see, a new session opened for the user root and blah blah blah. Everything is showing here. Also, there is another file, log secure. Let me show you. It has marked, but let me show you in the real time what actually happened. Now, accepted password for root from, this is the IP of my desktop machine, desktop OS, and it says that password has been accepted and a new session has opened for user root. So this was a basic introductory session about Linux. We have covered directory structure, how do we take help on the Linux machine, and how do we check the OS that we are working on. We have studied some text editors or text viewers. We have covered some basic commands for file manipulation, make directory, copy, move, and etc. We have learned how to mount the CD-ROM. We have created a local repository, and we have learned how to install a package. So I hope you know that how do you remove any package. No? Okay, let us study that as well. So this is, we installed the telnet package. Now let's remove telnet. So simple. Install, remove, and update. These are different commands or different parameters that can be used with the yum command. So it says yes. Okay, let's remove it. We will verify at the end by the logs of the yum. Previously we installed it, now it has been erased from the system. So that's all for this session. So we'll meet in some other session. Thank you for watching this one.